Stop playing with him, Riot.
And I'm bad like the Barbie. I'm a doll, but I still wanna party. Pink felt like I'm ready to bend. I'm a 10, so I pull in a Ken. Like Jazzy, Stacy, Nikki. All of the Barbies is pretty. All of the Barbies is bad. It girls, and we ain't playing tag. Rad, but he spanked me when I get bad. I'm in LA, Rodeo Drive. I'm in New York, Madison Ave. I'm a Barbie girl. Pink Barbie dream house. The way Ken be killing shit got me yelling out like the Scream House. Yelling out, we ain't selling out. We got money, but we ain't lending out. We got bars, but we ain't belling out. In that pink Ferrari, we pillin' out. I told Tay, bring the Bob Dylan out. That pussy so cold, we just chillin' out. Baby yelling.
All right, Mike, come on. Everyone's been asking about you. Sit down. We're about to start the interview. What are you doing? Sit down. Come on, Mike, sit down.
Is that her? Oh.
Yeah, that's Dolli. Oh, come on,
I don't know. I feel uncomfortable.
Just sit down, Mike. You're on. Miles away.
Yeah, I know.
What's wrong?
I've seen her. I was on her Instagram.
Okay.
And I'm a little scared.
No, what are you scared about?
But, I mean, I don't know. She's kicking these guys in the head, and she's got a tattoo that I'm kind of scared of.
She's miles away, Mike.
I know, but she's giving people the middle finger. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to say something and make her mad.
Mike, you've been to Tournament of Deaths. You've been to.
I know. I just feel uncomfortable. For some reason, I feel uncomfortable.
Well, what can we do to make you,
I don't know. Is that her?
I'm harmless. I promise. I come in peace at all times, unless you give me a reason to kick
No, all right. You're not gonna. All right, because all right. She seems all right. I just saw the Instagram and didn't know her about it, and I was getting scared about some of the things she does on there.
Mike gets a little frightened over here.
Yeah, I'm very timid. All right. I feel comfortable now. I got Gorby here.
Dolli, thank you for joining us today. How's everything going over there?
Lovely. I'm happy to be here.
Okay.
And Mike, to meet you guys and meet little Gorby as well.
He's 2 years old. He's 2 years old.
2 years old.
Never grows.
Aw, love that.
So let's start off with the question I start off with everyone. What was your first memory of professional wrestling?
My first memory of professional wrestling. So mainly my first I watched wrestling growing up as a kid in like my preteen, teenage years. I mean, to be fair, I grew up in like a very conservative religious household, so I wasn't exposed to too much, mostly like WWE, because stuff like Impact, TNA, I wasn't allowed to watch according to my mom. So I grew up watching a lot of WWE, and I had my favorites, of course, like Jeff Hardy. I can always say my favorite match of all time will have to be the SummerSlam of 2009, I think, with Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk. That was what really got me hooked. Seeing that match was gruesome as hell on both ends, and especially the one spot where Jeff Hardy jumped off a 20-something foot ladder onto the commentator table. That drew me, and I would never forget, and I would watch with my whole family. And then as I got older, around 2015-ish, I started fall out of it, tried doing my old thing, trying this and that with college and stuff like that, figuring my life out. And then I got back into watching wrestling because of a coworker of mine at a job I used to have. She introduced me to AEW, and that's when I just started discovering independent wrestling and stuff like that outside of WWE. I didn't even know this existed, and just my mind was blown, and I was just exposed to so many different styles of wrestling too, such as Japanese wrestling, which I take a lot of inspiration from, and hardcore matches and ECW, even stuff from back in the day I didn't even know about because it was just outside of my bubble when I was a kid. And then I kind of got this light bulb in my head one day while watching wrestling, because I have a martial arts background. I did martial arts for 14 years from 8 to 18. I'm a first degree black belt in multiple styles of martial arts. And I got the light bulb in my head one day. I was like, maybe this is something I can do. Maybe I could try this, because I'm 20. At the time I was 26. I didn't really know what direction to take still with my life. And I thought, okay, maybe this is something I can venture into, see what happens. And I tried looking online for wrestling schools on Long Island, where I'm from. And I came upon NYWC, New York Wrestling Connection. They are the longest running wrestling promotion and school on Long Island in New York. And saw that they were like super close to me, like 10 minutes from where I live, 10 minutes from where I work. So the distance wise was super convenient. So I tried calling them, but for some reason their phone lines weren't working, and neither were the other schools that I tried looking into. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to walk in one day after work. If they tell me to fuck off, they'll tell me to fuck off, and I'll know it's not meant to be. But I met a couple of the wrestlers there, and I was like, hi, my name is so-and-so. I'm interested in becoming a wrestler. Are you accepting new students? How do I get into all this? And they were like very welcoming with open arms, and like told me like what the breakdown is of like how the curriculum and the training's going to be like and what I'll be needing, and et cetera, et cetera. They asked about my background, and that rest was history.
So they like the karate, the martial arts background, right? That helped.
Oh, yes. Especially when I start kicking people in the head. They seem to really get a pop out of that.
I saw that on the YouTube, on the kicking. She get her leg up. I could tell that she knew how to some kind of martial arts by the way you kicked.
Oh yeah,
because it wasn't just like a cornball.
Yeah,
it was like
no, it wasn't
roundhouse kick right to the head, right to the head. Yeah, it didn't miss. Yeah.
Yeah, I try not to miss. I'm a kind of a straight shooter, for lack of better words.
So you didn't know anything. How did you discover indie wrestling then?
A lot of it was through like when I started training, like discovering AEW, and AEW was kind of how I discovered like what the independents were. And then around the time I started training was when I met my boyfriend, Tommy Rand, who is also a wrestler. He's part of a tag team called the Slime Balls. They've been in CZW. They've appeared on NWA, like all sorts of places all around like the Northeast and stuff. So, and like me and him, he started about a couple months before I did, and then we just kind of like got together, and he introduced me to a lot of like other styles of wrestling, such as like deathmatch wrestling, which I didn't know was a thing. And I was like kind of intrigued. I was like, I didn't know wrestling could be like this. This is sick.
I was going to death matches before you were born, probably, or like when you were like a baby. Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know. I missed out on so much. I wish I discovered it much earlier in life. In a way, I was glad I was able to discover it when I was even like wrestling from like back in the day, from like early 2000s and the 90s, 80s, like all that stuff. And like, and there's probably so much more that I can learn as well. And the more I discover it, the more like intrigued I am, and realize like, okay, I fell into the right place.
Wow, for sure. I told you a lot of. I remember we were talking the other day. I said a lot of the people, even though they're young, they're like historians. They like to go back and learn the history of wrestling. Like CZW's got like a history that you wouldn't believe.
Oh yes, especially like even down to like the fundamentals and whatnot. Because one of the things I noticed that's like kind of missing sometimes from like modern day present wrestling is like there's not as much storytelling in matches that there used to be. A lot of it, they're just wrestling for the sake of wrestling, or trying to get that gif on Twitter or get viral on TikTok or Instagram, whatever. And there's not much of that like tension and storyline and drama that there used to be back in the day, where you were fully convinced that these two people hated their guts, you know?
For sure. No,
I give a lot of credit to that, of learning a lot about that whole storytelling aspect and everything from one of my top trainers, who is Mike Mondo, who was formerly in WWE on Ring of Honor and all that stuff. He is like a mastermind when it comes to wrestling, and he's taught me so much and was able to teach it to me in a way that like I can understand and make it work for me, you know?
Oh, okay, for sure. I was going to ask her about the first day in training. Okay, so you went there that day. We're always intrigued by when you start training. So you went there. They told you what's going on. When did you come back and actually get in do things?
Probably within a couple of days. I came there on a Friday, and then I met with one of the actual trainers, Dickie Rods, on that Sunday. Was able to have a conversation with him, and he broke it down everything to me as well, and was like, "Are you up for this?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, why not?" And then I started my training officially that Tuesday, which I believe was August 31st of 2021. So I've been doing this a little over 2 years.
So you go. What do you do? What's the first thing they do when you show up? They tell you to bring some sneakers and sweatpants.
Yeah,
And
they
then put
tell
you
you
in the
to
ring.
bring like wrestling shoes, knee pads, whatchamacallit. And like usually the first half of training is like the cardio session. We have a separate trainer that does like the calisthenic cardio stuff, which was very, very intense. I remember my first week of training, like I threw up every time at cardio because like I'm very asthmatic. So like I have trouble breathing at times just from existing. So like doing like hardcore cardio where you're doing like 200 squats along with push-ups, sit-ups, and all that extra stuff. Like I would get so blown up and still do on occasions. And it was something I really had to work for. And then you would have to get in the ring after and do your rolls, learn how to bump, learn how to the basic chain wrestling, how to do like headlock takedowns, arm ringers, arm drags, so on and so forth. Like the basic fundamentals. And the bumps, when I took my very first bump, that was, and I've taken some heavy falls on my day because I'm quite on the accident prone side. I'm a little bit clumsy. But when I took those bumps, it was like, wow. And like I was used to it at the same time, considering like my martial arts background, like because I've learned like Brazilian jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, where you learn how to fall and bump on like a hard mat. At least with rings, there's like some type of like suspension, for lack of better words, to it. And there's like a little bit more padding compared to like a hard, like firm mat that's like this thin and then floor after. So in a way I was used to, but at the same time, I definitely bruised a lot. I was like, my first month, I was like covered in bruises here, my back. And like, people are like, are you okay? Is someone hurting? I'm like, no. I did this to myself. I'm like, it was my fault. Wait.
That'd be funny. Someone call the police, the abuse. So now let me ask you, when you go in there, do all the other wrestlers say, oh, I want to get a kick. Let's watch her blow up and quit. Do they all watch your first day of training, trying to like see how good you are? Like,
I mean, some people are like that for sure, yeah. But surprisingly, a lot of the people were like very welcoming, and like me in general, I'm very, very like shy and like closed off in the beginning and very like socially awkward at times. So it's hard for me to like open up and like get comfortable. It takes me a little bit for me to like put my toe in the water, so to say, and get myself comfortable. But once I did, I was able to like connect like with multiple people and make connections that way. That's how I ended up meeting my current boyfriend there through wrestling, and he definitely helped with me like getting introduced and helped me like understand certain things, not just in wrestling, but just like in regards to like talking to people, learning spots, how to plan matches, things like that. So surprisingly, a lot of the people, I mean, there's shitty people here and there, but like you'll meet that in every industry, you know, whether it's work or going out, things like that. There's like the good eggs and bad eggs.
No, I'm just saying it would be kind of entertaining to see a guy get in the ring for the first time and do the cardio, because you're like, you know what I mean? It's like a new thing. Let's see how, it's like a boot camp almost. Like,
oh yeah, 100%. It's real, especially like the cardio portion, learning how to run the ropes, doing drills. It really takes a lot out of you. And I've seen people that like start to do, and then like after like a few weeks, I never see them again after. And like people were quite surprised that I lasted as long as I did, especially as at the time I was like one of the only girls there. Because they had just like opened back up right after the pandemic, and they had one other girl there, Izzy McKenna. She's a wrestler there as well, and also helps a lot with like production as well. So besides me and her, and at the time, Willow Nightingale from AEW, she was one of my trainers as well. So she did a lot with like the women's aspect as well, with like learning how to like do like the women's wrestling, because like most of the time I was just wrestling the guys. Luckily now we're starting to get like more girls, and currently have like a little bit of a feud storyline with another girl who started a little over a year ago. So finally we're starting to get more men, bringing more girls into our promotion, into our school. But for a long while I was like the only girl, and like if anything, it gave me more to prove and more to fight for, because I wanted to prove that I was like just as tough as the guys. I can handle the bumps just as hard as the guys. I can handle the hits just as hard as the guys, and really be tough about it, and earn my stripes that way.
Well, you do martial arts and stuff. Were you a little scrapper in height in school? Did you get into scuffles? Were you a fighter or like?
No, believe it or not, I never got into like a real life physical altercation before. I'm personally not a fan of like conflict and drama and things like that. Usually, when people try to start shit with me and things like that, I try and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna block you, I'm gonna block you, I'm gonna block you, and I just try to avoid it because like I ain't got time for it. I'm too tired for it. So I try to live more like in light and positively. Although people have tried, but they've never followed through, to be honest, and maybe they're scared too.
Yeah, I mean, no one has time for that.
I would never mess.
Life is too short for that.
I wouldn't even mess with someone if they just said they had a black belt. I'm like, all right, I believe you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Like people don't really expect it out of me either because like I'm a 5'1" so and so, covered in like pink and black or whatever. I'm like, oh, she's not gonna mean any harm until I start swinging. And they're like, oh, wait. And even having some of the guys tell me in training, I'm like, you're like a sack of potatoes. I remember someone telling me that in training one time. Like, you hit like a sack of potatoes. And I'm like, thank you.
Okay. Oh, the potato. Oh, potato in wrestling means he hit hard. He hit hard.
Yeah, I lean a little bit on the snug side. I try to go for like that type of like realism at least.
Okay, see, that's why I was afraid of her.
I guess you were right to be.
I know. I'm not stupid.
So I was gonna ask, how long were you in training before you debuted?
How long was in training? I was training for a little over like just about a year of training. I kind of had like some slow starts in the beginning and had some bumps on the road here and there. And like I just personally didn't feel like I didn't want to debut until I felt like I was fully ready. I mean, there were times where they were gonna try to push me a debut, and I was like, it's too soon. I didn't feel that confident enough at the time to have debuted. And then a couple months before I debuted, I took a little bit of like a break because I had like a big death in the family. My younger brother had suddenly passed away, so I took some time off to like grieve and heal from all that. And then it kind of made me approach things differently going forward because like because my brother and I grew up being wrestling fans together, and like that was the one thing he never got to do was see me wrestle. And he would ask like when I was debuting and stuff like that. And I'm like, when the time is right, you'll see, I promise. And then he had went. And so now like I do this more, not just for myself, but like in an honor of him as well. Feel like I'm doing this for you and everything. Even the first few months of when I debuted, the entrance songs I used, because he was a musician too, I would use like one of his songs as my entrance theme as kind of like an homage to him and channel his energy when I go out there. Get that extra boost of confidence.
You could put his initials like on your tape or something, or
oh yeah, we actually have matching tattoos too. Actually, the 13 right here. Sorry, the camera's weird. We have the matching tattoos and like, but the number 13 because he was born November 13, and number 13 is like very like significant to him in his life and in his music. So, I try to incorporate that as well. Mm-hmm.
So your debut match, like, can you walk us through your debut, like the day you wake up, you're about to debut?
Oh, I was so nervous in the beginning. I was a nervous wreck, but at the same time, I was like impatient at the same time because I was like nervous but ready to go at the same time. It was one of those type of matches where it started off as like a singles and then it switched up into a tag. My match was originally with me and Izzy McKenna, and then Tina San Antonio and another wrestler, Shadow, was coming in, and then it became like a tag type of thing. And overall it went really, really well. I remember what I had to do, and just like things came out really smoothly, and I felt like really, really good afterwards. And it was like as I was in there, it just like everything just kind of felt right. Like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing in my life. This is what I want to do. This is why I've been going through the shit that I went through the past year with the brutal training and everything. It just made it all the more worth it.
We think of guys that do backyard wrestling who just they don't even have any training and just go crazy in the backyard and have organized matches. But you were like, she was so, doing it the right way, training. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's good. That's good. You did that.
Yeah, because I didn't want to like start too early and then I go out there and then like fully shit the bed, fully panic, like, and I'm just like, oh God, now do I do it? Everyone's looking at me. I'm gonna throw up. Bye.
Oh yeah, and it's on video forever.
Oh,
Yep, exactly. And then I'm just like, I can never show my face here ever again.
Oh God, yeah.
I waited as long as I did.
That's why it's important to go to a school and they know when to put you in there, a tag team match, a battle royal, something to get you not like,
Exactly.
And being in the ring with Tina San Antonio, she's been around for a while.
Oh yeah, she's a long time vet. She's been doing this for I think like at least like 15, 20 years or so, since like early 2000s. And like I've worked with her in a couple of matches, not just my first match. I did another match with her, I think a few months after or something like that. And she was wonderful to work with. She really took her time with me, even when I was like still very wet behind the ears, green as a goblin, and just like took me through it all the way. And she definitely helped me a lot. And I gave a lot of credit to as well. My tag partner in the match, Izzy, she helped me a lot along the way too through it. And like being like one of the only females there, that kind of like helped me like reassure me.
That's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
What about wrestling outside of your home promotion, NYWC? I mean, I've seen you some pictures in Pennsylvania. I think you wrestled in PA before.
Not in PA yet. I'm for the most part only wrestled on Long Island so far. I've wrestled for VPW, Victory Pro Wrestling, Remarkable Wrestling I've done, which is a newer promotion that started about a year or two ago here on Long Island in New York, but they've started like branching out more. I think they were just on Restival recently and Massachusetts in that area. I'm hoping this coming year on 2024, I'm able to branch out more and explore more outside Long Island, the whole like Northeast, New England area. Hopefully especially the New England area, because there's so much wrestling out there. Like I know there's promotions out in like Maine, New Hampshire, and all around. I just want to get in everywhere as much as I can.
Oh, okay. Now when you go to a new territory, a new promotion, are you usually with your boyfriend, or have you ever gone completely by yourself? Or
I've gone by myself for some of them. Yeah, some of them I'm with him, and like sometimes I go with him to other shows as ways of like networking, meeting other promoters and things like that. And I'm just like, hi, my name's Dolli Darko. I'm a wrestler from Long Island. How you doing? Let's work together, something like that.
Yeah.
Or I try to network online here and there, and it's a matter of like getting there too, like transportation wise, and like having it work with my like real life work schedule as well.
Right. Well, you got you're in Long Island. They got the Long Island Railroad. You could take that and then meet people in the city, get picked up somewhere, something like that.
Oh, definitely.
Learn the transit system, because I don't know what part of Long Island you're in, but the Long Island Railroad goes all the way. You can get on that railroad, go to New York, and then go to New Jersey or Connecticut, or you could get around.
Right.
Because I know it's hard to drive in New York because the bridges, the traffic, what's going on?
Oh, don't even get me started with the traffic. My God.
Right. So take the train. Like me and my buddy, we're going to the AEW tomorrow up in New York. Yeah. So we're going to take the train from New Jersey to New York, then take the Long Island Railroad to Hempstead.
Oh, is it City Field or?
It's called Hempstead.
Oh, okay. I usually do it at City Field whenever they come out on Long Island or New York. They usually at the City Field Arena.
No, the big pay-per-view is tomorrow in Nassau Coliseum.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that I think is in the Hempstead area. Yeah, that's right.
Uniondale, New York.
Yes. You're right.
But that's what I'm gonna do. We're taking the train. We don't drive. I'm not driving around there. So but I'm just saying, you're really in a good area, even though it's traffic, to get around by trains. And let's say you want to come to like she could come to like any part of New Jersey and someone could pick you up at a train station.
Yeah, and there's also one of my friends who also wrestles, Elle Valentine. She's come out here on Long Island a couple of times here from Boston. She usually does like the bus, then the train, subway, LIRR throughout New York, and I just like pick her up and we'll roll them out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that girl wants to. Yeah, I give it to these kids that want to travel. They want whatever I got to do to get to the show. I go online, bus, train, transport. But you can make it.
Yeah. It's all about, like, in case God forbid a car breaks down, like, hey, bud, do you mind like getting me from so and so to this area, or God forbid if all else fails, Uber.
Oh, God, yeah. What's the furthest you've traveled for a wrestling show?
Furthest I've traveled would probably be like out in like Westbury area, which is a little more towards Nassau. That was at one of our big shows recently, which was at the Space, which was like this big grand venue. It was like one of our biggest shows of the year, besides our yearly big show, Psycho Circus.
Okay.
So, but I've yet to travel like further. Like I've been out to Jersey for like independent shows and things like that for my boyfriend and stuff like that. But I'm trying to work my way to get myself into Jersey, especially. I'm hoping next year I'm able to even wrestle on like CZW and things like that. I got to meet Gabby Gilbert. I've met her a couple times, DJ Hyde, all good people.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping one day I get a shot there soon, next coming year.
Yeah. We hope so. Yeah, we want to see you out here in Jersey.
Even Delaware, if you're willing to come to Delaware, there's a lot of women. There's a lot of guys that there's a lot of promotions. I mean, it's, I don't know how much they pay to get, but I mean, if you want to get into some matches, like Gabby, like DCW, 1CW, there's like
a lot of
three. Yeah, there's like 3 or 4. Yeah, and they draw pretty good. A lot of kids. They're more family friendly and things like that, but. You can get work. Contact some of these guys in Delaware. Yeah.
Of course. Anywhere that wants me, I'm willing to go. Simple as that. Like I almost had my New Jersey debut, whatchamacallit, a couple months back, but then something went down and then all of a sudden they deleted all their accounts and I don't know what happened.
Oh.
Yeah. It was some sus things. I'm not gonna say the name of the promotion, but it was just like some sus things was going on. I was just like, what is happening? Does anyone know what's going on? And then all of a sudden, like, until further notice, we are canceling the shows until so-and-so day. We apologize for the inconvenience. Do you have any questions? Talk to so-and-so. And then they just deleted their accounts.
Oh, okay.
They just went ghost.
Yeah, sorry. But you'll be down here soon. I'm sure you will.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully. I'm definitely be making my way soon.
Delaware,
yeah, anywhere.
Yeah, looking at these Delaware ones, they're always looking for people.
Any what about WrestleMania weekend? You going to be in the Philly area?
WrestleMania weekend. If I ever get asked to go over there, I'm willing to go. Hopefully, I'll make it there because I know that's definitely a hot spot. Are they doing WrestleMania in Philly this year?
It's gonna be in Philly. Yep.
Oh wow! Oh yeah, so that's definitely going to be like a hot area for sure for shows and everything. So
there's going to be more wrestlers and more shows in that area than like anywhere in the world ever. Like just
yeah.
It's gonna be crazy. I mean, if you're a wrestling fan, if you're a wrestler, it's a place to be.
Yeah, even just show up.
I'm just someone that like I just want to be able to like be a wrestler that can say that like I've wrestled in this country, I've wrestled here or there, everywhere. I definitely want to like venture out like internationally too as well. Like hopefully this year I get to do Canada or England. My big goal is to wrestle in Japan because like the Joshi wrestling was like really got me hooked even more to wrestling and just like the hard hitting moves that they do. Like people like Julia, Mayu Iwatani, and there's so many others whose names I don't want to butcher. Even like Maki Ito, she's been coming up a lot more in the American scene as well. And just like, I love that style of wrestling. And like, even to train and work over there would be like a once in a lifetime experience. Even the Philippines, especially, they even got their own independent wrestling as well. And that's special to me because I'm half Filipino. My mom's born and raised in the Philippines. So I want to be able to like show that like representation as well. Because growing up, I didn't really see a lot of people that looked like me growing up, especially in wrestling, besides Batista. Batista, I was very biased. He was one of my favorites, especially because he's a proud half Filipino. And now there's been up more of a rise in like Asian American Filipino wrestlers. Like you got people like Shotzi, or what Kaden, who just won the women's tag team champions in WWE. There's even a Filipino in the LWO, which is pretty sick. Walking Wild. So definitely want to give back as much as well to that, and like show younger people that like, hey, people like us can do this shit too, you know? So even be able to go to my mom's home country, wrestle over there, that would be a dream come true as well. And hopefully I get to do that this summer as well, because that's usually when I'm over there.
Wow,
that's awesome.
Yeah, she's got gumption, because I'd be like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
We talked to guys that just go to Mexico. We had a guy that the body went up to Mexico in his first year wrestling and just roamed the streets and wrestled in Zone 23, which is like a crazy ultra violent thing.
Oh,
and
wow.
He's a little wild to begin with. And we're like, wow, he went into areas I don't even know if I'd feel comfortable going with people that I know that are down there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and he just dove in and wrestled. Remember that?
Yeah, not even.
Wow.
Yeah.
He didn't speak any Spanish.
Yeah, it just went down there. But you know,
I don't think you could pay me enough to go down there, like, you know, without speaking the language, without, you know, knowing someone down there.
Yeah.
You guys are hard. You know?
Yeah, no, they
respect.
eager. Yeah, stick with it. Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's a matter of like, if you at least know at least one person there, that kind of gets you at least one foot in the door, and then that person will introduce you to that person. One thing will lead to another. Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
Here you are in the ring. Let's roll.
Well, I've seen some videos of Japanese women training, and they're kind of rough over there. I mean, they're real, like, like, I don't know if you've ever seen any YouTube videos of what goes on over there.
Oh, 100%. I think there's like a whole like documentary on it too.
Yeah, you
I
saw
forgot
that?
the name of it. It starts with a G, I think.
Yeah, the gay I know what you're talking about, and they're beating them up.
Right.
So
it's just like they really like, because they want to see like how tough you can take it, and it's like a matter of like filtering out the weak from the not weak, you know, and like filter them out. Like, if you can't handle this, you gotta go, you know. It's like, and it like kind of makes you in a way like earn it more, rather than just having shit like handed to you on like a silver platter, like, oh, it's your first debut match, here's the belt, you know. It's like, yeah, that's nice and all and wonderful, love that for you, but like, it means a lot different, where you really have to start from like scraping the barrel from the bottom and then get working your way upwards. It just makes it all the more meaningful and so much more well earned and respected.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you watched the video, so you know what Yeah. You could show this video to people and they'd be like, nah, I'm not going. Hey, I can't make it. I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm willing to take it. I've taken a lot worse growing up, so it's like kind of a second nature to me. I kind of went through the similar thing with like doing martial arts as a kid growing up, and it was my parents running the school too. So of course my father, who was running the school, he was like, people would kind of think like, oh, do you get special treatment because you're his daughter? I'm like, no, if anything, he's 10 times harder on me than you guys. Trust me. Trust me.
And you know, they would respect that martial arts background over there, because you're a real athlete. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's good. Yeah, all right.
100%. A lot of their moves as well are very much like martial arts based as well. I mean, you look at FMW from back in the day, Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling, which was what's his name? Onita's promotion.
Onita.
Which was the start of like the Japanese deathmatch wrestling. And I was watching like videos and matches from some of them, even the death matches on there, like Manami Toyota, all of those, like those hardcore matches with the exploding barbed wire and all that stuff. Those were like mind blowing to me. I was like, holy fuck, how do I get into that?
So you like that? I'm curious. A lot of, like, I have friends, girls, friends, things, and they hate it. they don't want to see it. They
Yeah.
think I'm nuts for even bringing it up. When you saw that blowing up, barbed wire, and all that violent FMW stuff, what did you think? What went on in your mind? Like cool or like what did you?
It was
I would
like,
do
wow, this is something totally different that I haven't seen before growing up. And it was something new and refreshing. And I was like, holy shit, this is wonderful. This is amazing. And I was just like, it just adds more like suspense to like the storyline. Cause like one of the things that drew me to wrestling, because it combined two of my favorite things, which is like martial arts and fighting, but also like theater and drama and like action, things like that, and putting those two worlds together. And it was just something new and different and refreshing. And like even discovering deathmatch wrestling outside the after from like years now. I mean, certain deathmatch wrestling, it gets a little weird at times, and certain things get like overdone. Like, how many times are we going to see people hit with a light tube 10 times in a row? And then eventually, once you do it however many times, it just kind of like loses interest after. Like, okay, we got it. Another Canadian destroyer with a light tube. Now what? And it's just a little flick, and there's just not as much like technical wrestling mixed in with the deathmatch wrestling.
Right. I agree. Yeah.
Mhm. But a lot of the deathmatch wrestling I've seen in hardcore matches, even like the ECW hardcore matches, when I started watching those from like early mid 90s, when you got like Cactus Jack and Terry Funk, Sabu, New Jack, even.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. It wasn't really. It was hardcore, but this is so. Would you do a death match?
Would I do a death match? I don't know if I would 100% do a death match. Personally, there's certain things I kind of have like limitations to, but it's something that I'm open-minded and open to try at least once.
Oh, okay. Get it out of your system, you mean, right?
Yeah, for sure. And if I like it, I'll keep it going. If not, at least I did it. But it's something that I can keep an open mind about, and something I'm willing to try.
There's guys and girls that never do it, and then we've seen them take off, and that's all they do. Alex Colon, Mickey Knuckles. Mm-hmm. We knew them when they were doing no death match. We were like, none. And you're like, whoa, he's doing a death match? Who else? A lot of them. Danny DeMano.
Danny DeMano. Yeah,
he never did nothing like that. Yeah.
So many,
So many, and then there's doing death. All the Matt Tremont's crew. They didn't start out. Yeah.
All of them started out normal, and then Christian Rawls, Chris Bradley.
Right.
Yeah.
Katie Catal.
JD Catal, another one. She was in WWE.
Right. Yeah. So they just start, and I think they like it. They say that there's this adrenaline and excitement and getting into the crowd, and something different. And I don't know. It's a mentality that they like. We've
100%.
interviewed a lot of these guys.
It's like more of an adrenaline rush, and like I was always like an adrenaline junkie growing up. I like doing things that are like a little over the edge. So that like doing like a hardcore or death match would be something that I would definitely get like a huge rush out of for sure. Being able to just like bleed out. I wish I could have the one spot where like what John Moxley sometimes does, where he does the snow angels in the middle of the ring of the broken glass. Just like be as thick and twisted as fuck as humanly possible. Because then I would like to give that element of surprise too, because people wouldn't expect that out of someone like me, someone pink-haired, 5'1" bimbo covered in glitter. Oh, she's not gonna do any of that gross death matchy shit. I'm like, oh yeah, just wait.
Oh God! Now
I have experienced the weapons as well, so if I get to swing some like soul sticks, like barbed wire bats, whichever, I'm ready for. Let's go.
He's a promoter, you know that.
Oh wow!
He's like thinking, how much? His little peanut head is thinking of.
You and Gabby Gilbert would be a good one.
Oh yes, even outside of like a deathmatch hardcore aspect, Gabby Gilbert is someone I would love to work with in the future for sure. She's definitely one of my like list of goal opponents that I have.
Yeah, maybe you should start like a hardcore match, minimal, like don't go right into a no.
Of course, I would just start off small and like ease it up from there. Like,
yeah, that's how they work it. That's how these
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Oh, for sure.
Mhm.
For sure. Yeah, good time. Were you at I gotta ask, were you at that the last Deathmatch Circus or Psycho Circus? Psycho Circus 20?
Psychic Circus 20, yes. I was in the Battle Royal in it at the time last year. The year before that, that was like my first Psycho Circus. At the time, I was like kind of like valeting, managing before I had debuted for. I was part of this like psychedelic cult faction thing called the Fifth Dimension with Man Bun Jesus, and he had like the Groovy Grizzlies and like all these like hippy dippy type people.
Oh,
And
okay.
then I was doing that thing for a while. That was how I got introduced into like the storylines and everything. And it was all fine and dandy until Man Bun Jesus had his ego death of some sort and started to try to kill everyone, including me, and try to ruin the women's division. And was out to get me for a little bit of while. And then, so yeah, that's how I kind of got introduced into leading up to like me debuting and everything. So, but and then the year after, by then I was kind of doing my own thing and I was in like the Battle Royal. I wasn't in it for too long. The last Battle Royal I was in a few months back at the space show, that one I ended up being like one of the final 5. So some improvement was made over time.
But you're happy to be in it. Like you're in it. Like as a young wrestler, you're like you're in the rest room. You're learning. That's how you start out. So I mean, even if you're in there a minute, you're doing something.
100%. It's like better in it than nothing at all. I mean, it was a little nerve wracking in the beginning because I'm just like, oh God, there's so many people in the ring all at once crammed together. Like, where do I go? Who do I hit? Who do I kick in the face? Who's like, wait, you're throwing me over that which way?
Oh yeah.
And just like kind of navigate. Once like people start filtering out, then it's like, okay, there's a little more elbow room to elbow this guy, and so on and so forth.
Did you get to meet my friends from H2O at the Psycho Circus 20? Chris Bradley and Christian Ross. I think they were down there.
Yes, I think I met some of them. Yeah, and Matt Tremont, he was there too. My boyfriend Tommy, he was in the main event match as well, the cage match with like Matt Tremont, Mikey Whipwreck, all of them. So that was really, really cool to see. A lot of blood was shed that night.
Oh yeah, it was NYWC against H2O in that cage match, I believe, right?
Yes, that included like Bam Sullivan, Mouse, Matt Tremont, like I said, along with our guys, and including ECW legend Mikey Whipwreck. So that was really, really cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was supposed to go to that, but for some reason, I got stuck working.
I remember
couldn't make it out. But my boys were all excited. Oh, we're wrestling out there. Psycho Circus. Lucky Whipwreck's on there.
Inner promotion. I was going to ask her about when you do now. You were valeting, right?
Yes.
Now we asked the girls, well, how do you handle verbal abuse, guys or girls? Tell us a crazy experience about a fan, because you're standing around the ring, right?
Right. And I was kind of like the cheerleader, essentially, like the little rainbow bright cheerleader at the time, just kind of like smile, like, yay! Oh no! Oh, what's gonna happen? What are we gonna do? Like that type of thing. Just kind of like reacting and emoting in my face and stuff like that.
Are the fans picking on you?
Not so much. No, they kind of like some do here and there, but I usually just kind of like tune it out, and I just kind of like black out in the moment. Like once I'm in there, I'm Dolly, and I just kind of like get in my zone from there. Not really too much from the outside distracts me or come towards me. Yeah. I mean, I've seen it happen to other wrestlers. Like some fans would get like a little out of hand and get a little too grabby or try to hop over the barricade, or just recently at our last show, whatchamacallit, some fan went to go throw a drink at Papa Don, one of the longtime veteran wrestlers.
Oh, yeah, Greek guy.
Altercation that like just went viral recently. So shit happens for sure. But luckily, I'm lucky that I didn't get to experience that thus far. So hopefully it stays that way.
Oh, you probably will.
One of these days I will, but I know how to handle myself, so I think hopefully I'll be okay.
Do you understand the wrestling fan? You're not at the US tennis open. You're not at a golf tournament. You're at a professional wrestling event where there's goofballs and fans are not like, there are a lot of them are a little wild.
Oh yeah, 100%. Some of them like 3 or 4 sheets in the wind, like sometimes it does get out of hand, I've seen it before plenty of times, both from like behind the barricade and in front of the barricade. I've seen it on both sides. Like as a fan, I've seen it in the crowds. I've seen it like while I'm in the ring or out there. Sometimes the last cycle show, there was like a whole angry mob of swords and they just started throwing trash into the ring as the one guy's sitting there, just like trash all over the fucking ring. It was insane.
Wow. So while we're on the topic of the fans, a lot of the girls we interview, they always tell us some crazy stories about fans, messaging them crazy stuff, coming up to them, giving them crazy gifts. Has a fan ever approached you with like a crazy gift or something crazy for him to sign?
Crazy. I'm not yet that I've known of. No, like so far, like the things I've signed have been like, for the most part, normal. I remember my debut match because like the main event of that match was like a cuffed and cage match that involved like a cage, weapons, handcuffs, barbed wire, stuff like that. And a little boy asked me to sign like a piece of a wooden board after, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not?
Whoa.
Like little kids, because we get like kids come to the show and they get like really into it too, and I'm like, are you sure you should be exposed to this? You're like,
yeah. What he's talking about is we got some girls that interviewed and guys are like, hey, can I wrestle you in a hotel room on video? Can you just like you sell your clothes.
I haven't gotten any of those yet, and like especially not in person, like because like if my boyfriend were just like, he's like very much the protective type, so if he sees someone acting weird, he's like the first to like immediately swoop in. I'm just like, what are you doing, man? So Mama comes in handy in that department.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's always good.
That's good. Yeah.
And I'm just like, he warned you. He warned you.
Yeah, but we hear a lot of crazy stories of people we interview sometimes.
Right.
Just be cool. If anyone's watching, just be cool. And
right. But she'll remember us.
Exactly.
Well, there'll be a day down the road where you'll be like, hey, I remember those 2 guys that interviewed me. They were, I know what they were talking about now.
Oh yeah, I will experience it one of these days. I'm like, listen, if you want to pick up my feet, at least give me $20-$30. Buy my merch, buy something,
I know. They're not hard. There's never been an incident where a wrestler's done, a fan is done. They're just fans. I mean, yeah.
And usually I just kind of like brush it off. And I'm just like, oh, he's just drunk right now. It's fine. Yeah. Or like, oh, they don't know any better. So, but just like the ones that know better and then choose to do it anyways, that's where I'm like, because like people forget that at the end of the day, like wrestlers are people too. And like people, we have boundaries and like lines in the sand that we don't want crossed. And sometimes they try to cross that line. So you kind of have to know when to like intervene in a way, but still kind of keep it like kayfabe, so to speak. Whatever is left of kayfabe these days.
You like that question?
Yeah. No, for sure. I would go back to NYWC a few weeks. Well, last week you had a match. Can you tell us about that? How'd it go? Were you happy?
Yes, I had a match about a week or 2 ago with Sammy Chaos. It was my first time wrestling her. She's like an up and coming from like the Northeast Jersey area. She's been on like CZW and like all different parts of like the Northeast area. She was cool to work with. Definitely one of my toughest opponents. Someone that's like twice my size, taller than I am, probably a lot stronger than me. And I got thrown around, beat up quite a bit, but I managed to escape my way and finish her off and was able to come out on top. And a lot of it's just been kind of like building up to the feud I have with the other female wrestler who's current Starlet champion, Amity LeVay, who is like a new up-and-comer. She started training about a year ago, and I was the one who introduced. She asked me on like how to get into the wrestling business and hit me up on Facebook one day. So I introduced her to it, and then she ended up getting the belt before me, and that just kind of started the tension and the feud and that whole shit. And working towards that way of hopefully getting that belt for myself and finally make the women's division what it can and should be after some time, you know. I mean, she's been swifty and she's beaten me quite a bit, and like I've beaten her a couple of times. So one of these days, I'm gonna beat her for the belt, hopefully, in the next coming months or so by early 2024. Maybe at even Psycho Circus. Who knows?
Oh hell yeah!
I got to get to one of those.
2024. That belt's coming home, right?
Oh yeah, I hope that'll be the first of many belts for me to collect in the future.
Oh, she's aiming high. This is a good. Yeah. You sound like you really love the wrestling business, and you want to be in it. I mean, I hope people see this interview and reach out to you. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I hope so too. I mean, it's something like as I've taken my time with it and learned to like pay my dues along the way as well. Like I didn't like even for example, my second or third match that I had with Willow Nightingale, even just getting like a training match with her and training, that wasn't something that was just like given to me. Like that was something I had to like work and earn for. And it was when she finally gave me that nod, and she's like, "You ready to do a match?" And I'm like, "Okay." Like really, it's time. And she's like, "You're ready." And I'm like,
"Wow."
Okay. And like, she's someone like amazing to work with, sweet as apple pie, and she's taught me so much from when she started training me and everything. And she's come a long way, and I hope one day that me and her get to wrestle again soon and redo our match, because I've come a long way since the first time I wrestled her, my second match, and I still have a long way to go, but I still want to show you what I got, and that I got more fuel in the tank, I got more comfortable in my skin, and and earning that match with her just made it mean and worth more for me, because it was like made me feel like the work that I was putting in, the dues that I had to pay, it just made it like okay, this was meant to be. I'm supposed to be here. Once I step out that curtain, I'm like, it's go time. And it's just the thrill of the game and everything, and just like everything about the business with the ups and the downs. It's something that I have nothing but the utmost respect for. And it's something that I can't walk away from it. I got too much to lose now. And it's like saved my life quite a lot of bit. So I want to be able to give back as much as possible.
I saw Willow Nightingale's match against Athena in Ring ROH pay-per-view.
Yes.
That was the main event.
Oh, yes. Athena's a hard worker. She's been doing this a long time, too. She's been in it for like 17, 18 years now. So even from WWE onward, and she's really taken over the like Ring of Honor women's division, and had like quite the title ring, really good defenses, and her match with Willow was amazing. They're both like a lot of Willow's matches are like really, really good. And she goes as hard as she goes and like has so much fire and fuel in the tank. And at times I'm like, wait, I can't keep up. You're going so fast.
Wow. Okay. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk a little about the upcoming show for NYWC?
Yes. Next show we have coming up is on January 20th, which is our show Sideshow. It's our pre-show for the Psycho Circus that we have the month after, which I believe is February 27th. I don't have a match announced yet as of now. Hopefully that gets announced in the coming week. So I'll definitely be on there for sure. And It's actually on the weekend of my birthday as well. So that'll be a fun time as well. Get another win in for the birthday weekend.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. So if anyone's watching this, bring Dolly a gift.
Yes. Pushing 30 here. Wish me luck.
No, that's good. No, she seems like she respects the business and really is interested in learning the right way and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Well, I was going to ask you about you know what we like to talk about? Food, like on if you're on the road, because we always talk about different restaurant. Where do you're up there? I know you got White Castle and stuff like that.
White Castle.
What do you like to eat? Where do you guys stop and eat? Yeah, at night after shows. What's your go-to thing? Wawa.
Ooh, on the road, like if I'm going with like Tommy or whoever to like out in Jersey or whatever, going there and back, Wawa is the definite go-to because it's in that in-between area of like Jersey and New York. So,
Yeah.
and they got some good stuff there. Quick Checks are pretty good. I mean, like I have a guilty pleasure for all like any fast foods and stuff like that. I've been trying to eat more healthier for like wrestling purposes and stuff like that. So I try to do like, well, I don't cook, but I get like those like pre-packaged meal prep sent to me and like try to eat that way so I can still not feel like shitty when going to and from the ring, things like that. But Wawa is the definite wrestling go-to hotspot when it comes to food for sure. Ask any indie wrestler, at least from the Northeast area, and they're like Wawa.
Yeah. We interviewed some of the guys from England, like Big Joe. They love Wawa. They love Wawa. They're like,
Oh, wow.
They love Wawa.
They love Wawa.
They
Yeah.
love Wawa. That's the
Oh,
first.
yeah. I don't think they have that over there, do they?
No, they
Oh,
don't even have
wow.
that. Yeah, I gave Big Joe a keychain,
Yeah.
a Wawa keychain. He liked it.
Yeah, some of us, as soon as they land, they want to go straight to Wawa.
Yeah.
Wawa.
Of course.
How about Waffle House? You like Waffle House?
Waffle House, I haven't been to yet, surprisingly. I've yet to go. I mean, I've been to like Denny's, IHOPs, and things like that. Waffle House, I've yet to go to.
They're not.
I'd love to at least try, or to at least see some shit go down in a Waffle House, because that's usually what I know Waffle House for. Especially that one video with the girl that catches the chair with one hand at the Waffle House getting thrown at her like nothing happened, just like, and what?
That's crazy you bring that up because I never had. There's a Waffle House right across my street, and I never went to it because of that. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go there and there's gonna be a fight or there's gonna be chaos. But
like I feel like if you work at Waffle House, you need to have at least some type of like Fight Club type experience. Like the training process is like the equivalent to Fight Club. Like there will be people trying to kill you, and this is how you need to defend yourself.
Yeah, but I had on my show, I had a show October 20th, and I had one of the guys here with me, Soul Taker, and he took me to Waffle House, and I fell in love with it. I've been there. I can't even tell you how many times I've been there since October 20th. Yeah. I love it. It's literally right across from my house, so I'm there like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for breakfast food, so like anything with waffles, pancakes. I mean, I'm from Long Island, so I'm very biased to like my bacon, egg, and cheese, buttered roll, hash brown in the middle. Like the bacon, egg, and cheese, that's a go-to Long Island, New York classic. Especially when you go out to the bodegas and stuff, that's a go-to bacon, egg, and cheese.
Well, you know, the Waffle Houses are not in New Jersey. They stop. They don't. Here. They're Maryland and Delaware. The most northern one is in Bear, Delaware. And in the whole country, really? We're like the tip of the Waffle House. Wow! So if you ever come to Delaware, you'll probably be going downstate. You'll be passing by the Waffle House, so you'll see and you'll go there.
No, definitely check it out. Like I said, it was my first time trying it, and I haven't. I love it. I'm in love.
Yeah, all the Midwest guys, Chris here, they all talk about Waffle House. Even Punk, all them dudes. Because it's the only place open 24 hours, and you can get food and
a good fight.
Nah, I've never been.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I remember one time, I think this was like a few months ago or some change. One of the other local promotions we have out in Long Island, SWA, which is Suffolk Wrestling Alliance, they had the main event was like some type of like Waffle House themed gimmick match, and they have like the whole door with like the Waffle House logo and shit, and just like throwing dudes into it. And there was like kind of like a Waffle House because they have a wrestler there named Pancakes who's like straight out of the dumpster of back of IHOP, and he's out there.
I've seen that. Yeah,
that's great. That's a great theme.
Right.
So
do you have IHOP?
Waffle House kind of ties two and two together.
Okay, but you have IHOP where you're at, right?
IHOP and Denny's. Yes, I think there's like a Denny's right down the road from me too.
I love Denny's. There's no Denny's here in Delaware.
No.
There's no Denny's here.
No, there's no Denny's there? Really?
There's one in Maryland.
There's one in Maryland. 45 minutes. 45 minutes is the closest Denny's.
They closed them.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we got that. But Cracker Barrel.
Oh, I love Cracker Barrel.
Okay, you would like that.
Cracker Barrel is pretty good. That's like I remember when I used to go out to like Vermont and stuff like that with family on little trips. That was like one of the in-between spots, and like the food there is real. Their country fried steak is really nice. Love a good breadstick.
What about your White Castles hamburgers out in New York, New Jersey area?
Oh, I love White Castle. That's like one of my guilty pleasures, White Castle, like the mini burgers.
Yeah.
Even though it does a number to my stomach after, like I can't help it. Like that plus the mozzarella sticks there.
I know. I go to Massachusetts sometimes and I get off. Oh man, it's like I put my Garmin and I put Waffle House. So I mean not Waffle House. White Castle. And they're never like on the main turnpike. They're always in the city, inner city, deep in city. So I put it on, and when I'm like, okay, here's one 3 miles off the road, and you get off the road, and man, sometimes they're in crazy areas. I remember I went to one near the George Washington Bridge or something. Really? I went up, and it was like, it was. Remember I told you? Yeah, it's I'll be the only one there to open 24 hours, but I'll eat it and leave. Yeah. White Castle. Yeah, I like that. What else do you got?
I go to the one in Allentown. I work in Allentown, Pennsylvania from time to time, and when I get off the turnpike, there's one right there. So I always make sure I stop. And my boss hates it. So every time I put in my receipt, she's like, "Oh, you went to White Castle. That place is nasty."
Yeah. But I think of White Castle though. I can't help but think of like the one movie I used to love watching, Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Oh, I love that.
Franchise. Like that's why I'm like, oh, I want to try White Castle. And I didn't have it for like the longest time. I just never got around to trying it. And then where I live, there's like one that's like about like 5 minutes from me or so, and I'll just like order from Uber Eats or something, and just like.
Oh, okay.
But I'd rather eat in person because like I don't like the ketchup in the burgers, because I'm not like I don't like ketchup or sauces or anything like that. I'm like just keep plain with the cheese, add some bacon, extra pickles.
Okay. All right. Well, when you come to Delaware, we'll get you to the Waffle House right down the street.
Love that. Love that.
You got to get her to Delaware. You got to come to Delaware. Contact some of these promoters, and a lot of the girls do come from New Jersey and stuff. Oh, yeah. You could get a train right New Jersey Transit, and then get a ride down with these girls.
Oh yeah, I'm down for it. I'd love to be out there. Sure.
Gabby Gilbert wrestles in Delaware a lot. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she's there and everywhere for sure.
Right. They had a great, it was crazy. Remember, they had a Comic-Con down in Dover, Delaware. And I mean, it probably didn't pay much, but it was free show. And it was like 300 people. And the crowd was into it. The kids were into it. So that was a good atmosphere, like for wrestling. Yeah. She wrestled on that. That would try to maybe get in something like that.
The Comic-Cons, yeah.
Yeah, anywhere in Delaware, they draw pretty good. It's family oriented. There's no violence or blood or anything, but
right.
You can sell merch. People like the guys like buy the girls.
Oh yeah. The old you bring your merch, you'll sell there.
Awesome.
Yes.
Love to hear that.
Yes.
Love to be out there. I'd love to like break out more in that area for sure. Like that whole Northeast New England area for sure. I definitely want to really branch out of my horizons and like get my name out there for sure. And like I hope to meet more of these type of people as well and network as much as I can.
This interview is good. She's sensible. She respects the business. So if I was a promoter, I would watch your video and then use you. And you don't seem like the type that's going to be drunk or acting, causing drama in the dressing room.
Oh God, no.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
I promise. I'm just a doll. I'm just a doll that's trying to vibe, I'm here for the vibes.
I gotta ask you, what's your favorite moment in your career thus far?
My favorite moment in my career thus far.
Willow.
Let's see. Probably my match with Willow. That was like a big moment because like one, it was something I had to earn, and just like working with her in general. And that was like right before or around the time she had just got signed to AEW too. So it was just like she was branching out to her new path, and I was just getting started. And she was someone that like definitely helped me along the way with like getting my start in wrestling and helping me get comfortable in the ring when I was just starting out. So that was like working with her is definitely one of my favorite moments for sure. Even recently, my favorite moment was like getting to work a couple months ago. My friend Elle Valentine, who wrestles out the New England area, when she got to come out to New York for the first time to wrestle, because me and her, we both connected being both Filipino American female wrestlers. We both have a similar vibe. And like we wanted to work each other for like over a year, but just the timing was never right. And she lives out in Boston, I'm here in New York, and us finally working together and us with the little time that we had like 5 minutes, and us trying to put out like a banger of a match within 5 minutes. It was just one of those things that just kind of like felt right. Everything connected so well. And me and her plan on working as a tag team in the future as well. We've yet to come up with a name yet, but we plan on working out in like New Hampshire and stuff like that whole Northeast as a tag team for sure, and take on the women's tag division too.
Oh, okay.
So I'm someone that's like willing to try a little bit of everything with wrestling. You know,
yeah. We want to see you here in Delaware.
Yeah, get
or
over
Jersey.
These girls, like the Delaware. A lot of people come from things. So when you talk to a promoter, say, "Hey, I live here, but I can get to New Jersey. I can get to this part of New Jersey," and the guy will be like, "Okay, well, I got 2 people coming down from that. We'll put you in that car with them." And you know what I mean? That's how they do it. They all travel together.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
What else? Before I get into that,
okay.
New Year's resolutions. Any New Year's resolutions?
New Year's resolutions. 1, to finally get the NYWC Starlet Championship. Finally get my first title on the belt. Definitely venture out more. Getting to wrestle outside of New York. Wrestling Canada. That's another resolution as well. And just to like get my name out there and just keep wrestling and keep going and just live to the fullest. It's going to be the final year of my 20s as well. So I want to make as much of it as possible, like make the most out of it as I can. So before I turn the big 30, so.
I thought you were younger. We didn't know. I thought you were like 22 or something.
I get that a lot. Sometimes I get like, "Oh, are you like 14 or something?" I'm like, dude, no, I'm almost 30.
You see, you have a lot of tattoos. How many tattoos do you have?
Tattoos? Oh, shoot. I'd probably say like at least 11 as of now, I think. My last one I just got recently, less than a month ago, was like my elbow one. I have like Filipino flag, sun and stars here. Like anime tattoos here and there. And then like I have a Donnie Darko, Frank the Bunny tattoo on my leg, which I get the name from Donnie Darko originally, which is one of my all-time favorite movies because I draw a lot of like character inspiration, like not just from wrestling, but also like movies, anime, shows, certain things like that, like different character aspects I try to incorporate within Dolli Darko, along with certain wrestling styles such as like AJ Lee from back in the day, Soraya, Paige, whichever. And then probably my biggest tattoo would be like the stomach one I have, which is the Japanese Hanya mask. That was probably my most painful tattoo as well. And it was done in like 6 hours, all in one day.
Wow.
It was like the color and the shape. It was brutal. And I almost passed out a couple times, but definitely well worth it. And I like the meaning of it as well. Cause like, I'm someone that's very like, I admire and get inspired by Japanese culture in general, especially old Japanese history. And the symbol of the Hanya mask is like a woman of scorn and out for revenge. And that's something that like, I definitely relate to. I'm just a woman of scorn. I'm just surviving purely out of spite.
Now that piece, was that that one your first tattoo, was it?
The stomach one, no. My first tattoo was the dice I have here, which is the 13, which that one originally I kind of got as like a spur of the moment, Friday the 13th, on like $30. So I was like, okay, whatever, at some random shop before I started getting all my other tattoos. And it was something that I was going to get covered up in the future, but then a year before my brother died, he got a matching one. So that kind of like gave it more meaning to it as well. And that's like, now I have to keep it.
Right. But that big one, that the Japanese one, like it took 6 hours, and you were did the guy tell you that this is going to be pretty rough?
Oh yeah, he warned me for sure. And luckily it was someone that like I knew as well. He was someone that I was childhood friends with, and I used to do martial arts with as well. I remember even one time we were doing like a jujitsu grappling match, and I bit him during the match in order to escape a hold and get around it. So it was kind of full circle there. And he put some like numbing stuff in the beginning, but once like the color and shading happened, that's why I was like, oh yikes. And he's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I know. As I'm laying there like half passed out dying while like the needle's digging into my body, because like the stomach's like the most sensitive area. So that was a pretty brutal ones, but I don't know. I've taken a lot of pain in my day, so I'm just kind of used to it at this point. And I'm just like, oh, another one bites the dust. Let's go. I still get up somehow.
I got my last name on my stomach, and that was just a black ink. And I remember after a while, like they did the outline, I couldn't take it. I was like, I mean, I toughed it out, but I was like, oh man, this is painful. I couldn't imagine sitting there for 6 hours.
It's all shaded.
Yeah, especially like because like I have a lot. There's like reds and blacks and highlights as well. Like the highlights were like the whites was just like that's like those with the whites with the reds are like the most brutal because it's like a heavier pigment, especially when you're like somewhat of like a darker skin tone. You kind of have to like put in more so that the color shows. So yeah, it was not an easy one to get. There's some where I can just kind of like snooze by through. I'm like, oh, we're done already? Okay, cool, sick, love it. But then there's some where I'm like, oh God, when is this going to be over? This is taking so long. Oh God, this hurts.
Cool. Well, they got a big tattoo convention in Philly in 3 weeks. The big one in the convention hall. That's huge. And they're bringing all
those. I've seen those are the ones they do like the suspension hanging.
Yeah.
That I've always wanted to try. There's the suspension hooks. I've always wanted to try to do the ones from my back.
You can do it. Listen, you go there, and the day of the thing, they're always looking for girls, and they'll see that you're into tattooing and stuff. Guaranteed, they'll put you on there, free. They don't even charge you. They might even.
Oh, they don't charge you?
Well, I mean, the girls aren't in pain. They put these things in the back of the skin, 2 of them in the back of the shoulder, and it carries you. It's carried Zandig and big guys, and they swing around. And I don't think it hurts them.
Like kind of like not just an adrenaline rush, but it's kind of like from what I've been told from other people, it's like kind of like a euphoric feeling as well, like the way it's this off the skin. So that part I thought was really cool, and I was like, I want to try that. That looks fun.
You can do it. Now there's
like,
places
you go. Air like that swinging. That's like that seems fun to me too. So I was like, let's do it.
No, they'll let you go as much as you want, and if you don't want to do it, they'll take you down. But there's some girls doing all kind of spinning tricks. But they ask, they say, if there's anybody that wants to be on the show, you go up to the guy and he'll do it, and they do it professionally, and they'll fill you out, and I'm a martial art black belt. I got tattoos, and I'm a professional wrestler. You're like, all right,
here you go.
They'll be like, she can do it.
It's a good
You should go. It's Friday and Saturdays when they do the suspensions.
Oh, nice. Good to know.
That's another thing. Here, we met a girl here that wants to do it. I show the video to some girls I know. They're like, "You're sick. Why are you going to that?" Oh my God, those people what's wrong? They think something's wrong with me for watching it, let alone the one doing it.
Some people get like kind of squeamish by it. Even some of the guys like get squeamish by it too. I've seen, but they're like, "Oh, that's so gross. Ew, oh, blood, skin," and I'm just like, "Dude, it's just flesh." It's just a flesh wound. Like the one line from Monty Python. It's like, oh, it's just a nick. It's nothing.
See, that's she's good. Like I've had friends, even girlfriends. They don't want to do any of this hardcore wrestling. They don't want to go to wrestling. They don't want to go to tattoo conventions. They don't want to see suspension. They're babies. You're hardcore.
Different, I guess. I mean, like, especially I think it comes from also as well, like not just martial arts, like growing up, like I have a Filipino mother straight out of the Philippines, and she's old school down to the T. Like if you step out of line, you get palo. So like I've taken a fair share of pain and beatings and things like that. So And especially like majority of my life, like even when doing martial arts, I was like almost always the only girl. So like
Mhm.
I always had to felt like subconsciously try to constantly prove that I was like just as tough as the guys, if not more tough than the guys. So I try to like show that toughness and things like that and try not to show any weakness. Like there's times a little bit where it like gets to me, but at the end of the day, it's just like the more I keep going and show it just kind of makes it more worth it and I kind of like earn that respect after, which I appreciate.
Can you grapple? Like if like let's say you're walking in a park and some guy grabs you, like you could take him down. I mean, you're gonna it's gonna be no problem, right?
I feel like I can, yes. I know my way around. And even like in martial arts, I also learned how to do like certain gun and knife defenses, things like that, how to disarm guns and shit like that,
Oh,
you
okay.
know? So
But you know the points to like gouge and all. You don't
oh
mess
yeah,
with you.
100%. I try to keep some forms of protection on me in case too, if I'm like going somewhere that's a little on the sus side. So like I try and keep me prepared. That's part of the point of like with martial arts and everything is like keeping prepared and as a form of protection and using as a last case resort and not just for the fuck of it.
Okay. Well, nobody's going to shoot on her in the
Oh,
ring.
no.
We hear stories where some of the veterans, especially with the girls, they'll be like, they didn't know what to do right, and then they start roughing them up.
Yeah, we've seen
So
some.
they probably wouldn't rough you up just because they're pulling the veteran card.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean?
Right, right. I mean, I'm sure they'll try anyways. So
Well, no, but yeah, but no, not really. I wouldn't mess with it. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. No, that wouldn't do
and
that.
even then I wouldn't do that because like at the same time, like I could never like disrespect of that because I'm someone that at the same time, like I know my place, you know. I'm not gonna like try to like step out of line and try to like out over myself with someone that's been doing this way longer than I have, you know?
Oh, okay, I got you.
So
Yeah, you're right. It's good. It's good to have the background that she's got. All right. Yeah.
Any advice for someone watching this that wants to break into wrestling? What would you say to them?
advice I would have is like knowing that like this isn't something for everyone, I would say, but at the same time, if you're someone that wants to get into wrestling, make sure it's something that you're willing to put your whole life into
Oh,
and
yeah.
sacrifice into because there's a lot of sacrifices that you're going to have to make along the way with wrestling. Like you're going to have to sacrifice a lot of social time. You're not going to be able to see friends and family as much. You're wrestling is something you kind of have to give like blood, sweat, tears, money into because it's expensive too to be a wrestler. Like
Mhm.
going to and from gigs, buying protection gear, buying like gear that looks good, that's of good quality, and like making sure you look good for the shows and everything, and putting the work into your body and knowing what to eat, that workout, exercise, and just know that if you put your whole heart into it and fully believe in your being that you can do this, it can take you a long way. And make sure you show respect to the people that brought you into the business and know that wrestling doesn't owe you anything, but you owe a lot to the business. And there's always much more to learn and much more to give to the wrestling. There's no such thing as like, oh, I know everything, I don't need to learn. Like, no, you're always going to be a student of the game, and there's always more to learn along the way, different flavors of ice cream. And
Mhm.
mhm. So
No,
if you're really in for it, buckle up. And it's a tough journey, but it's a journey that's worth the destination, I would say for sure.
Oh, okay. They teach you about the respect. You know, when you're in the school, did they teach you about like veteran, the respect veterans more, be respectful, shaking hand, all that etiquette? What did you learn about the etiquette, the locker room etiquette that a lot of wrestlers don't know, and they make mistakes. They sit in a chair where you shouldn't. You're like, you didn't respect somebody, or you bothered a veteran? What did they teach you?
I feel like I kind of learned a lot of that stuff from like right from day one, because a lot of like my trainers, they were like a lot of the people were like the old school heads that like taught those, like implemented those values, like make sure you shake this person's hand and that shake that person's hand when you meet, like, hi, I'm so and so, nice to meet you. Hi, I'm so and so, nice to meet you. And that was just the way I was brought up in general growing up. So it was kind of just like second nature to me. So, and just, yeah, that's, I feel like those are things that they should be taught day one, like those basic etiquette, fundamentals, and paying dues, like learning how to set up a ring, how to put a ring together with the post and the boards and everything, clean the mats, clean the bathrooms along the way, like definitely pay your respects and pay your dues. I feel like some of that gets lost along the way nowadays with the newer generation of wrestlers. And that's why some of these like younger kids, like they get brought up so quick, but then they build this whole ego along the way because they didn't do anything to earn it. It was just kind of handed to them. And a lot of those like old values get lost and disrespected. I mean, there are certain things that I'm kind of glad are left in the past, but there are certain things that should be still implemented today for sure, 100%. Even as simple as shaking someone's hand, even if you don't know who they are, just like know, like they could be someone important. They could be someone like a promoter that can get you on this promotion, or someone that knows someone that can get you a TV deal and things like that. So you don't know who you're going to meet, so at least try to make a good first impression for sure.
Right. It could even be a fan. Let's say I'm at a show and she's like, I'm like, hey, how are you doing? Or let's say I get a bad vibe and I know this guy, he's running shows. I'm like, I don't know what was wrong with her. Just don't, you know, I mean, whatever. I mean, it's it's better to be, you know, you never know who you know and who's going to be somewhere else, or and you know, these kids now, a lot of them, you're a little older, they're coming out of high school, getting away with murder, talking back to the teachers. Well, when they get to wrestling school, it's like boot camp. You're
100%.
You know what I mean? So you better change that attitude that I am an entitled child and I'm allowed to do what I want at home.
Ones that like have never been told no a day in their lives.
Yeah,
they're the whole shit and butter, you know.
Oh, we hate that. God, so annoying, these kids.
Crazy.
Sound like, these kids. No, but they are. They're like, why do I have to do that? You're supposed to. We teach. Have you ever seen
a principle for sure? It's a principle, 100%.
Right. Have you ever seen somebody come into the school? You don't have to mention name and be like, and you're like, wow, this one ain't gonna last with that attitude. Like, what do they think they're coming to?
I think I've seen some of those like in passing and things like that, or I think they like kind of like know everything, all right, and then once they step foot, they're like, what do I do? I've seen some of those like kind of come and go here and there, and there's always going to be like, even people that have been wrestling a certain amount of time, there's always going to be those type of people that like have that big ego and like all that. So, and you just kind of have to like mind your business, let them be, and just like, you know, at the end of the day, not my monkey, not my circus. You know, as long as you know who you are and like know who you pay your respect to, that's what matters at the end of the day. Don't jump into another sinking ship.
Tell me how she can contact people if they need work and such.
Do you have any questions for us?
Oh,
questions for you guys. Not that I could think of at the moment.
We've been going to wrestling for years. Like I've been like going to CZW, helping out with different like little CZW shows. Mm-hmm. Like I've been to like the Tournament of Death.
Oh yes, I've heard about that one. Yes. I saw like clips of it, the recent one, and I think I saw one where this one guy, he had like 2 handfuls of raw chicken or some shit like that.
Big Joe.
Oh, that was Big Joe?
In underwear, yeah.
I was like, who the hell brought chicken to a death match? Raw chicken. Like I just see gusset plates and things like that. Like now we're bringing salmonella into this.
Right. Well, we live in Delaware. It's
right.
Like 15 minutes from where we live.
Oh yeah, because they have in like that area. Yeah.
DJ's farm.
Yeah, DJ Hyde's farm.
Yeah. So we've been going. Like I used to go to ECW at the arena. I mean, I saw those Sabu matches, stuff like
So
that.
you probably saw like all them like John Moxley, Nick Gage, even
Nick Gage, yeah.
I've
Nick Gage.
seen a lot of his matches, and he's one tough motherfucker. I would say he's
Right.
someone I highly respect and does way things out the norm. Even his stuff that I've seen like in Japan that he did, like some of his stuff matches in Japan, and then the one he did with that German guy where he like almost bled to death, and I was like, holy
Thumbtack Jack. We were at that show.
Oh, you were at that one. Oh wow.
We've both been to almost every tournament of death, Cage of Death, any major CZW show. Gabby Gilbert when she was called Roxy Cotton.
Roxy Cotton, yes.
Yeah, and I'm just telling you, look, and the H2O shows, tournaments of death. Like a buddy did when Nick Gage, he went to jail. You know that, right?
Yes, of course.
And the day he got out of jail, the very next day, a buddy of mine named Luke Hadley did an interview with him, and we did it in New Jersey. And he had just been out of jail one day, and I was there when they were taping the first interview. Brett Lauderdale, the guy that owns GCW, me, him, and we all did it. And then we all went out to like Applebee's, and he'd been. It was his second day out, and So I'm just telling you, we've been around the block with these guys. And Necro Butcher, we know him from way back. And,
right. So you probably go to the ones in the CZW shows in the Maryland venue and stuff, right?
I've been there. Yep.
Oh yeah, I went to the one back in what was it? August, I think. My boyfriend Tommy was on. He's part of the Slime Balls. They have that whole feud going on with Milk Chocolate.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'll check them out.
Havre de Grace, right? In Havre de Grace, Maryland.
Yes.
That's a cute little town, isn't it?
But the menu's like very extravagant, really nice.
Yeah, it's a theater. We did we did a little video there.
Did you get a chance to walk around the town? I love the town.
A little bit, yeah. I saw something because we had went like on our way back because me and my boyfriend, we had gone camping with his family that weekend. We were driving back from Pennsylvania to there, and it was a show that like I almost was gonna be on, but then we were running late because there was like a mishap in the GPS, and we got there a little late, and by the time they already had found someone else because someone had called out. So I was like, so I could have almost debuted at CZW, but hopefully next time around I'll make my way there for sure.
You'll be on there.
There was a time when people would have paid hundreds of dollars to just be on a CZW show.
Yeah.
How'd you get lost getting there?
Well, I wasn't the one driving. Like, my boyfriend's mom was, and like I think there was like another Maryland address that was in there that like was pressed on accident, and it was like something with a turn. I don't really know exactly.
Oh yeah, you might have been on that.
We were able to get it on time, like before we went too far, but
that's okay. Okay.
Yeah, it happens. You know, sometimes the GPS is just like glitch and things like that, like all technology.
You got to have maps with you. Maps are important to read because you can never rely on that GPS. There might be traffic and it's telling you, keep going this way. You open up that map and you're like, all right, look, we got to go around here. That's what the old school guys used to do. Yeah.
Right.
So I just got, before we start closing out, I want to ask you, if someone's watching this, what's the best way to contact you?
Best way to contact me is follow all my social medias, my Twitter and Instagram. They're all at Dolli Darko, DOLLIDARKO. You can find me on Twitter, on Instagram. Message me on there. I also have my for shows. I have my own email as well, bookdollidarko@gmail.com. So anything with Dolli Darko, that should be me for the most part, I think. So and you'll find me on there.
Do you have any?
I do have merchandise. Yes, I'm actually wearing one of my merch right now. This is my official shirt that I released a couple months ago, which I sell at shows, and it's also available at prowrestlingtees.com. I think they have a sale going on too as well, a New Year's Eve sale where you can get 20% off. So definitely check that out soon. I don't know when this will air exactly, but.
Couple days,
a day or two, absolutely.
Oh yeah, so it's still around New Year's time, so I have my merch on there.
The 8x10s are a big seller, especially with female wrestlers. They don't, even if they're not as well known as like Gage.
Oh yeah, right. I try to keep some of those too as well, like 8x10s. I started pushing out stickers as well, because people be really into the stickers as well, especially for like all their Stanley cups and shit like that. So. I try to push whatever. I'm hoping to put out more merch in the future as well. So different designs, different types of merch. I'm hoping to do eventually like hoodies and like hats and stuff like that. Whatever I can.
Okay.
Awesome.
Is your boyfriend getting the slime group? Are they going to wrestle down in CZW again soon? Or
Probably yes. I think because they still have their situation going on with Milk Chocolate, who were like, I think they were tag team champions or still are tag team champions. So they'll definitely be at the next show there for sure.
Okay. Is that the guys we interviewed?
No, that's yeah.
Oh, the other two. Okay, I get them mixed up. Okay.
Yep.
Might have been.
But,
I think you're thinking of CMD, which they're also on CZW too.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. My boyfriend is tag partner Sage Chance. They actually beat CMD for the tag belts recently, I think. So.
Yeah. Yep.
At Wrestling Is Now, which is SAT's promotion.
Your boyfriend must be happy that he's in CZW because that's such a big history of independent wrestling.
Oh, 100%. Because it was one of the promotions that he grew up watching as well, and like introduced me into like watching when I started discovering like indie wrestling and everything. Like he was like, here, check this out, check this match out, check these people out, you know, especially seeing the old like Tournament of Death, like Nick Mondo and all of them.
Okay. Center the history, the one I did with Luke Hadley, it's got like 30,000 views. History of CZW in Delaware. We went to all the venues. It's interesting.
It's good.
Yeah, well, yeah, your boyfriend will like it. Yeah, he might have seen it.
Yeah, I'm sure he's probably seen it before. Yeah.
Okay, good. History of CZW in Delaware. Okay,
absolutely. But the next time we'll catch you live is NYWC, January 20th.
Yes, January 20th.
January 20th. I want to give a shout out to Anthony, the Deathmatch News guy, always hooking us up with great interviews. Thank you, Anthony. Danny Flores, GXH. Check out his band.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No. Your XBW.
X Brand Wrestling. Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back 2024. We haven't confirmed the date. X Brand Wrestling. Check us out. Instagram, Facebook, all that fun stuff. Dolly, you have anything else you want to plug?
No, just I'm willing to get myself out there, wrestle anywhere. So if you're someone that is looking for someone like me on your show, let me know. And hopefully I can make my way out to Delaware or whichever. Hopefully I get to meet you guys in person too. That would be pretty sick.
Okay. Waffle House right down the street.
Oh, hell yeah. We're all going to get some blood in and then get some waffles after.
I mean, you're just going to have to get a better attitude. If you want work, you're just going to have to get a better attitude.
No, Dolly, it was an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. So nice meeting you guys. Love to be here.
We'll see you in the ring 2024.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Have a happy New Year.
Thank you.
Happy New Year. Bye.
Stop playing with them, Riot.
And I'm bad like the Barbie. I'm a doll, but I still wanna party. Pink felt like I'm ready to bend. I'm a 10, so I pull in a Ken. Like Jazzy, Stacy, Nikki. All of the Barbies is pretty. All of the Barbies is bad. It girls, and we ain't playing tag. Rad, but he spank me when I get bad. I'm in LA, Rodeo Drive. I'm in New York, Madison Ave. I'm a Barbie girl. Pink Barbie dream house. The way Ken be killing shit got me yelling out like the Scream House. Yelling out, we ain't selling out. We got money, but we ain't lending out. We got bars, but we ain't